Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are here for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can come and hang out with me every time I upload a new video. Alright, so I am doing a review on Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 1, episode 1. So let me just start off by saying I was looking for something to fill the void of the show Girlfriends as well as the show Living Single. Now, I didn't expect nor did I want something that was going to be exactly like those shows, but just something with black women, sisterhood, and hopefully, yes, a little drama, but also some good times, some happy times, some success. So, when I saw the advertising for the show, I was anxious to watch it. Um, I have to say, I'm not a huge Tyler Perry fan as far as his work. I adore him and kudos to his accomplishments. But I think the only show I could ever really get into and that I stopped watching was The Have and Have Nots. And I ended up stop watching that because it just became ridiculous. But anyway, but I really wanted to check out this show. I will check out a show, definitely. I will give it a chance. So anyway, upon watching it, as soon as it came on, I started looking at it. It gave me girlfriends slash waiting to exhale, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But anyway, so the main characters thus far is Andie, Sabrina, Karen, and Danny. Now I looked at this twice. First time was kind of half-assed because I was busy and I was just kind of just glancing over it, and then I watched it again. I will say when I looked at it, like I said, I didn't really watch it the first time. When I was looking at it here and there the first time, I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't really feeling the character Danny. Um, I wasn't feeling her at all. Then I sat down and actually watched it. Still not crazy about her, but it wasn't as bad as the first time I watched it. I actually like this episode. So anyway, let's get started. So we starting off with Andie getting her birthday blowout from her very married boyfriend Gary. So he's giving her the usual spiel of, he's going to leave his wife. He needs more time, and he wants his face to be the first that Andie sees when she wakes up on her birthday, and he got cupcakes in the bathroom and all of that. And the whole time his phone is going off, his wife texting him. So he ends up, of course, she's like, look, is that your wife? Go ahead and answer it. And he's like, oh, no, because all she want to do is argue and whatever. The same old spiel that married men give when they're cheating. So it seems like all of the ladies have men issues as the show goes along. Um, it seems like they have one issue amongst all of them, except for Sabrina, who doesn't have a boyfriend, but the guy that she's met and has gone on a date with kind of comes off as DL, and we'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, so Danny, she's on the phone with Sabrina while she's on her way to work, and Sabrina's giving her the spiel of what's going on with Andie. She let her know it's her birthday, but don't say anything because although it's her birthday, she's not really feeling it. The whole situation. I guess she gave Gary an ultimatum. Number one, he needed to have moved out, and number two, was looking for a proposal. He has done neither. He is still living with his wife. He is still very married, and of course, he could propose, but they'll never get married as long as he's married to his wife. So Sabrina lets it be known that um, Karen and Karen's boyfriend Zach has broken up, and apparently Danny and Zach work at the same airport. So she's like, she's going to get him. She's going to confront him as soon as she get to work, and all of that. So she gets there. She gets to work. She has a little, encounter with her coworker and a passenger. And then she sees Zach driving the little cart through the airport, and she steps in front of it and proceeds to cuss him out. Okay, regarding dogging out her friend. So she's cussing him out loud, and she also tried to give him a message to give to Jerome, which I guess apparently was a dude she was dealing with. And so Zach was like, you and Jerome are not together. Like, you do realize that. And so Danny calls it a situationship. And if you guys have ever watched, I know a lot of you have, Married at First Sight, you know all about situationships. So, anyway, she cusses him out. That's that. Then we're with Sabrina at work. So she was on the phone with Danny. She gets off. She goes to the window. It's the bank teller. And her and her coworker up there. There's a long line. The coworker, who is a gay guy, calls for the next person in line. There was a guy in line. So instead of him going up to that teller, he lets the woman behind him go so that he can get in Sabrina's line. So he steps to the window, he makes a deposit, he ends up asking her out on a date. She was like, well, how do you know I don't have a boyfriend? And he says, oh, I checked your social media, which to me is creepy because, I mean, apparently he has been coming into the bank. I think he said for 6 weeks. So he's been coming in there. Apparently he's been avoiding getting into the guy's line, and is always trying to get into Sabrina's line to check her out. So he has already checked out her social media, to get to, I guess, figure it out what's going on with her, if she's attached or whatever. So she agrees to go out with him on a date. Karen, in the meantime, is at the gynecologist's office for her yearly exam and also to get test results. I'm assuming for HIV. Anyway, which came back negative. Whatever test it was she got, it came back negative. But the whole encounter with the doctor was very awkward. I mean, from the conversation to the way they had her up on the table, looking like she was getting ready to give birth versus a pap smear. Like, why was she sitting up, sitting up with her legs in stirrups? It was just, the whole encounter was awkward. So anyway, Andie arrives at the firm prior to the court hearing. So apparently her boss called in her client to meet at the firm versus going straight to the courthouse. When Andie gets there, her boss tells her, look, I called the client in because the husband and his lawyer is here. They want to meet, come up with some type of settlement because they're not trying to go to court. So Andie is like, okay, she's about to, she about to wrap this up for her client. Her client was willing to accept. She was like, look, I'll take $4 million in the house. So when they get in there, they were like, okay, we'll do $5 million. Now all she wanted was four, so she was cool with that. So Andie called their bluff and was like, nope, we're not doing that. They wrote down a number. She thinks she wanted 25. And they were like, no, absolutely not. And so she let it be known that she subpoenaed his tax records. So it was like, look, unless you want all this exposed, you might want to come up on them numbers. So all in all, they agreed to 20 million. And then so Andie was like, yeah, we'll take 20 million and also the house. So of course the husband was livid. I mean, he was like, I hope you die. Like, what? So they agreed, and she was granted 20 million plus the house. So the wife was very excited because, of course, she was like, I would have taken 5 million. Like, I didn't ask for much. And she, of course, she's very happy. She hugs Andie. She let her know, she um has another friend that is looking to get a divorce, and she would love to, give her information so that she could do the same thing for her. At that moment, I just knew, because a lot of stuff is predictable, especially with Tyler Perry. And I just knew, I was like, it's going to be her boyfriend's wife. Like, I just knew it. So she was like, yeah, okay, great. That's great. And so now Karen's, she's getting ready to meet her girls. And Zach walks in. So he's walking in, apologizing, and Karen started reminding him of the many times that he has messed up and apologized, including the time he gave her an STD that she had to take antibiotics for. So she brought that up, and he is just laying it on thick, like begging and, crying, whatever. So she leaves. She's like, look, get your shit, get out. You better be gone by the time I get back. So the ladies meet up, and Danny with her big mouth. So she's saying happy birthday to Andie. This is after Sabrina told her, look, don't mention her birthday. Don't mention anything. So not only does she say happy birthday, she brings up Greg and asks did he Gary, I'm sorry, and asks did he propose. So Andie tells them, she actually won the largest divorce settlement her firm has ever had. And that's all she want to focus on. She's super excited about that. So they all were giving her kudos and happy for her. So then they're asking about Gary. And Karen's talking about her conversation with her doctor, and Andie reveals that she doesn't feel Gary is the one and that she's going to break things off with him. So the ladies are, talking, and then the guy, Rodney, I believe, from the bank walks in. Sabrina introduces him to everybody, and here come Danny. Danny comes right out and asks him, did he like dick? Okay, because Sabrina mentioned before that her coworker, the gay guy, thinks that Rodney is DL, and so Danny decided, all right, I'm gonna come right now and ask him. So she asked him. Of course, he looking like, what the hell? So they walk off. She takes him, walks off, so they can have their little one-on-one time. So Danny leaves, go and smoke. Andie and Karen have a one-on-one. They're talking about cheating and being strong enough to leave Gary and Zach. They agree they deserve better and that they're not going to give in to the guys. So guess who shows up with flowers? Gary. Child, out of nowhere comes Danny. She grabs Sabrina from her little date and runs over to meet Gary. Because mind you, they none of them have ever met him, and it's been what 6 months, so they only heard about him, and only Karen knows details of the fact that he's married. So only she knows that. Anyway, so Andie ends up leaving with Gary, which okay, I'll get into that later. But she leaves with him. So Karen's back home, and Zach's outside on his little bike waiting because her brother changed the locks when he left out. So she's telling him, so they go inside. She's telling him to get his shit and go. He hits her with, you act like this is not my place. And of course she's confused, like, what are you talking about? And he's talking about he helped her put down a deposit. But when she hit him back with, You sure did, and haven't spent a dime on rent since then. So, okay, we all have been young and dumb. We all have been young and dumb. However, so not only does this dude, I mean, okay, he has a job. I'm not gonna fake like he doesn't have a job. He has a job. He's a bum because he's out there cheating on you. Not only cheating, but giving you a disease. And on top of all of that, he's not even paying half the rent. Like, why is he there? Why? So anyway, he starts laying it on, giving a sob story, crocodile tears. I mean, he is like just like he is just bearing his soul. And so he gets on his knees and he's talking about I need you to make me better. Um like basically he's nothing without her, and oh my god, he'll be so lost without her. And it's so BS. And it's like, women, we are always trying to save somebody. you know and what did she say? Because he was like, I need you to save me, and she was like, I can't keep saving you when you're so hell-bent on drowning. And it's almost like he trying to make it seem like, oh, it's on her to fix him, and, oh, I'll do whatever you want. I'll go and get help. What? For cheating? Boy, if you don't sit down somewhere. So anyway, she ends up, he's still on his knees, but she ends up like hugging him, like wrapping her arms around him and everything, around his head actually. So now we're back at Andie's place. She's in bed with Gary, and I'm low key mad about this because this dude gonna show up. She's out with her girlfriends. Like, she can't see him whenever she wants to. Okay, he can only come over there when he can get away from his wife. So here she is out with her girls, celebrating, having a good time, and you show up. And now, mind you, she didn't have to go, but you show up, take her away to sleep with her. Then your phone is going off. Guess who it is? His wife. So the wife is texting because the little boy has a fever. So I don't know. I mean, in later in later clips, when they show the upcoming episode, the wife is saying she knows he's cheating. So I don't know if all these her texting him, is a way of disrupting his little affairs that he's having. It's almost like, even if he doesn't answer the phone, just the fact that you're constantly texting him is going to put a damper in anybody's affair. So, because you texted him saying he got a fever, I mean, okay, give him some Tylenol, put an ice pack on his head, and call it a day. But anyway, so that bothered me because whenever you want some, or whenever you got a minute, okay, I'm gonna go and grab you. I'm gonna find you and grab you from wherever you are, so we can come home. You take care of my needs, and then I go back to my wife. Like, what? So anyway, like I said, his phone goes off. It's his wife saying that the son has a fever, and he's like, he has to go. So of course Andie's pissed, and she's like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I promise it's gonna get better. We're at the end. I'm talking about him and his wife. And so he leaves. Now Karen is at home in bed, getting real close with her vibrator, okay, while Zach is on the couch. So he hears the noise from the vibrator. He gets up, walks to the bedroom door. He opens it, and of course, he all Mr. Smooth talking, like, what you. It's so fun. Oh my God, it was so funny. So he's walking in. He's like, what you doing in here? What's all this noise, whatever? And she's like, look, I told you you can go sleep on the couch. Like, go ahead. And he was like, nah, what you doing? You don't need that. And, trying to be all smooth with it. So he pulls the covers back. He grabs her by her legs, pull her to the edge of the bed, grabs her vibrator, throw it across the room, and basically finishes her off. I mean, in a nutshell. In a nutshell. Um. So. I mean, now mind you, early on, her and Andie, when they were at the I don't know if it was a restaurant or a little club or whatever, bar. Just a couple hours ago, they were like, yeah, we got to be strong. We deserve better. You know, we're not going to give in to them. And bam, what happens? Both of y'all give in. So Andie arrives at work to a room full of applause, for her. Like I said, the last case that she worked, that was the largest settlement that law firm has ever seen. So they're all applauding her. And as she's walking, her boss comes up to her and was like, um, the last client that you had, she referred you, and that client is here. So, she was like, okay, good. So she walks in and doesn't know that this is Gary's wife, right? She thinks this is just a regular client. She introduces herself, and the client was like, she wants a divorce, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Andie grabs a pen and paper and was like, okay, let's get started. What's his name? And then that is when the wife gives his full government name. Okay? That is when Andie realized, oh shit, this is your Gary is my Gary. Okay? And it's all over her face. And it ends at that. But then we see later on, in future clips, where she's going to be telling her boss she can't take the case, conflict of interest, whatever. But those are the key points that I wanted to talk about on this show. I am gonna give it more time. This was the pilot, it's the first episode, so I want to give it more time to see where this goes. A lot of times Tyler Perry can start off weak and then build up and then fall off again, and sometimes he can start off strong. So I really want to support him. I want, like I said, I've been looking for a show to fill that void from girlfriends living single. And yeah, I'm really hoping. Somebody else said that this show reminded them of Insecure, the show, I think that was on HBO. I saw a couple episodes of that, and it did kind of remind me of that too. But anyway, I'm gonna hang in there. I'm gonna give it a couple of more episodes to see if I how much I really like it. And that is it, you guys. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, listening to my review, and until next time, take care.